Here's where it gets super, super awesome.
Ready up live?
Ready up live.
Ready up live?
All right, Jimmy, so you say the new set's ready? Oh, it looks good. Looks good in here. Oh, wow. Look at that. We got all the bobbleheads. Yeah, how you guys doing? You doing good? E.T.? Yoda? Yoda winking? Camera here? Yeah, looks pretty good. Oh. I like this. Feels right. Hello, people of YouTube, the internet. My name is Minolta1034, and I am finally back. It has been a month since I've made a video. I've been to New York. I've been to Regina. No, I did not say the other word. I have been all over the place, doing stuff, making friends, having fun, but I've missed making videos, and there has been so much to make videos about. Now, I'm not going to do a Halo News recap right now. What I'm doing is a little opinion video. I wanted to tell you guys what I thought about the Xbox One. Now, obviously, the announcement for the initial console was like a month ago, and I didn't say anything then because I knew I just wanted to wait until E3 to hear everything about games and the system for that aspect of it, and not just TV and stuff. And so during E3, I was actually in New York, and I couldn't make videos there, so now I'm back, and I wrote a great script on everything I thought about the Xbox One and all sorts of things last night, and I was going to shoot it today, and then Microsoft goes and announces a huge change to the whole DRM structure, which was mainly the thing I was going to talk about anyway. As you probably have already heard, if you don't live under a rock, Microsoft has axed pretty much all of its online DRM. You're going to have to connect the Xbox One to the internet when you initially set it up, but after that, you never have to go online again. You don't need an Xbox Live subscription, you don't need anything. You can just play your games on the disc, which is fine. And I understand that there are people out there that don't have internet connectivity, don't want internet connectivity, can't afford new games or anything like that. But the thing that bothers me about this is the fact that Microsoft decided to back off when they actually did have a pretty good vision of the future of console gaming. And unfortunately, some people, like PlayStation, took advantage of their, what I would consider to be forward-thinking outlook and turned it into a PR nightmare. Now, that's not to say that Microsoft isn't without blame. I mean, they completely bungled pretty much everything to do with PR on the launch of Xbox One. They didn't properly define how the DRM worked. They didn't sell any of the positive aspects of it. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. As hard as it is to believe, there are some positive aspects to DRM. Now, again, I understand that this doesn't apply to anyone that could be offline or doesn't have a solid internet connection, which is a good amount of people. Don't get me wrong. But eventually, I mean, I guess our hope would be that in the future, Google will have hot air balloons that send Wi-Fi across the entire world, and no one has internet problems, and everyone is always connected. I mean, I think we can all agree that that's where we're going, but it isn't the world that we live in now. Microsoft was kind of pushing an idea that was a little bit ahead of its time, right? Now, some people, like myself, have no problems with internet connectivity. The 24-hour check-in did seem a little excessive to me. I would have preferred maybe a week, but it's very rare that my internet is offline for 24 hours. But, I live in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. I'm not in a big city, but I'm not in a small city either. So I definitely have some advantages that other people don't. So for me, the DRM functionality for the Xbox wasn't that big of a deal, because the other thing is I really don't sell my games. I keep them around. They sit in the background of videos that I make, because whenever I've gone to sell one, I get like $7 for it. It's like nothing. It always feels like a ripoff to me, and I'd rather keep that game and be able to play it. But again, I understand that there are some people that, they can only buy used games and all that stuff, and I understand that. But where I'm coming from is the fact that with the Xbox One, there was all of this, always on and everything like that. But there were a lot of advantages that Microsoft didn't talk about. Now, the first advantage that I'm really disappointed that we're going to lose out on because of this reversal is the family sharing plan, where you would be able to share your game library with 10 family members, which actually would have been, like I would have had Green Skull and other Ready Up Live members and friends of mine on there. But I was excited, you know, if a friend of mine maybe had a game that I hadn't played and he could share it with me and I could try it out before buying. That digital aspect of everything is really great. And I've wanted to move to a digital world for a long time. I mean, games on demand and the Xbox Live Arcade, all that stuff, just buying digital games without having to go to a store and pay for, you know, what it costs to have that game disc manufactured and packaged and shipped somewheres. And then I got to bring it home and I got to install it and everything else like that. It's a pain in the butt and I don't want to do it anymore. I like having physical game discs, but going all digital would be great. It's more convenient for me. It's easier. I don't have to go stand in a midnight launch line with a bunch of smelly gamers because, let's be honest, we all know midnight launches, the aroma, I love them. I love going to midnight launches. They're a lot of fun, but the aroma of the gaming community is not always... it's smelly. But aside from all of that, the thing that, you know, most excited me about the digitization of games, and not just the fact that, again, you wouldn't have to go to midnight launch, you might be able to even, they didn't announce this, but one thing I was really hoping for would be the ability to pre-download games so that at midnight they would just unlock. It wasn't even the family sharing or keeping your games library with you all the time, another feature that's been axed now that we're back to a mostly physical disc-based economy. Now, they'll still be selling games on launch and everything, but the strategy is no longer focused specifically towards all digital games. And so the main thing that I'm disappointed about is that economically, distributing games online and changing the way that used games and the game buying marketplace worked would allow developers and Microsoft to, yes, make more money. Absolutely it would have. And that's not something that everyone agrees with, but I mean, if you worked for Microsoft, you'd probably be okay with it, right? Or maybe you're a Microsoft shareholder. Now, in the short term, that might seem like gamers are being shortchanged. However, in the long term, what it meant would be eventually, hopefully, and again, this is not something that you can confirm or tell, but we're just going off looking at other models like Steam. And what it would have hopefully meant would be the decrease in the price of new games. Now, not all new games, you know, you're probably not going to see the price come down for Halo or Battlefield or Call of Duty anytime soon, but maybe other smaller games or anything like that, they could be sold for less. You already see this with Xbox Live Arcade. I mean, you're not paying $60 to go out and buy Minecraft or any of the other games on Xbox Live Arcade. You're usually paying like 20, maybe $10, something along those lines, which is similar to a lot of the games you see on Steam, as well as the reason that they can offer these huge, incredible Steam sales on these awesome games, because it's an all-digital platform, because they have control over that economy. Steam is the one place you go for these games. Yes, you can buy them in brick and mortar stores and stuff, but primarily the revenue is controlled through there, and so that allows them to have the control to set the prices to be very, very competitive. Once they've made that initial jump or leap over the awkward transition into the digital sphere, whatever you want to call it, I feel like I'm just making up words, but once you've made that transition, the game prices, at least I think and I would hope, just like we've seen with Steam, would go down. And what that would mean is cheaper games. You know, yeah, you can trade in your used games now and make $10 off of a game or $20 or whatever GameStop chooses to give to you. But we all know GameStop, they're ripping us off, right? They're buying it for less than half of what it's worth and then reselling it for double the price so they can make a big profit. Trying to make money the same way. But it's the way that works better on the other side for consumers. Really cheap used games work well, and I understand that. But I also know that overseas, certain people in the UK, Australia, other places pay huge amounts for new games. Huge amounts. Like hundreds of dollars. Not hundreds, but like $100 for a new game. That's not unheard of in the UK or Australia because of all the cost of importing and other things. So when you switch to an all-digital marketplace, those prices for those people and for people in North America all go down. And you're not making $10 off of selling a used game, maybe you're saving $40 off of a new game price. Now, obviously, I can't guarantee it would be $40. Maybe it would only be $10 or $20. But still, to me personally, because I don't sell used games, that sounded like a great deal to me. I mean, saving $10, $20 on a new game sounds awesome. I spend more money on new games than I ever recoup in used game sales. So it just made sense to me. Not to mention all of the other features like the roaming game library and the shared family plan game thingamajig. All those features sounded really great to me, and I was willing to check in online every 24 hours and do the DRM stuff in order to get those features, because I was hoping that it would sort of move us forward into a new and interesting console generation. Whereas now I feel like things are a little bit more stagnant. Things are a little bit the same as they always have been, the same they've been for years and years and years. And that's not the way that I want things to go. I do want the entire digitization of all physical media. I don't buy DVDs anymore. I haven't bought CDs for like ever. I mean, I buy it on iTunes. I buy DVDs. I rent movies on my Xbox if I want to. I mean, that's the way that I consume media, and I want my games to grow in the same way that we've seen movies and television and CDs change. Now, yes, you could say that you can technically share some of these files like CDs and everything like that, but at the same time, as a content creator, I can respect that you want to be recognized and be compensated fairly for the consumption of whatever you end up creating. So to me, it doesn't seem like that much of a stretch that Microsoft or the developers would want to regain some of that lost income, because technically they did create the game. They did make that product. And so for them to be cut out, it could probably feel a little bit rough. At the end of the day, I guess I'd have to say that I'm disappointed. I was looking forward to the Xbox One's online features, and the only real qualm I had was with the 24-hour check-in. I was just hoping they would boost it up to, I mean, even like 72 hours would have been fine. I mean, a week tops, I would have been completely okay with. But now I just kind of feel like we've stepped hugely back, and a lot of the features that I was excited about just aren't there anymore. Now, I understand that for some people, you're rejoicing and you're very happy. But it's funny because for all of the outrage that the internet experienced over the last little while about the DRM features, Twitter and different articles have been lamenting the loss of some of these features, because I think that they were groundbreaking. They were interesting. And I wish that Microsoft had stuck to its guns and taken the risk of releasing a console like this. I was thinking about the removal of Flash from the iPhone. If you remember way back in 2007 when the iPhone came out, and it didn't support Flash capabilities. Now, in the same way, the internet was up in arms. You need Flash for the internet. They said you can't not have Flash. This is crazy talk. You know, everything runs on Flash, YouTube and Vimeo and everything. You can't get rid of Flash. We need it. You can't do it. I'm not buying an iPhone because I can't have Flash. And people, said that, oh, this is going to be the iPhone killer, blah, 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 blah. And Apple simply said, listen, it's an old technology. You don't need it. We can move forward with HTML5. We can build new technologies that are better. We don't have to stick with the way things always used to be. Apple stuck to their guns, and today, almost no mobile phone supports Flash. I know Android doesn't have it in its latest versions, and I know that Windows Phone doesn't have it either. You don't get Flash online, and that was the vision of the future that Apple saw. I can't even think of the last time that I ran into a website that uses Flash that I couldn't access. If I had to conclude this video in some meaningful way, I would say that I'm disappointed. I wish that maybe Microsoft had found some sort of middle ground that allowed them to maybe offer a choice to players if they wanted to opt into the online only program where you had to abide by all of the restrictions that the online only mode implied, or that you could be a primarily offline player, which would mean that you would be able to swap discs, sell used games, do all of that stuff. But what it would mean is that you don't get any of the benefits. You wouldn't be able to share your games. You wouldn't be able to keep your game library with you as the online players would be able to. And sure, that probably wouldn't let us reduce the price of games as much, but maybe it would. Maybe they could offer launch day games for online players, and then maybe it's a week later for offline to buy it digitally. I'm not really sure. I mean, I haven't thought it all through. I'm not a Microsoft engineer. But I am disappointed that this is the way things have gone. Anyway, thanks a lot lot for watching, guys. Fake slurp sounds. Let me know in the comments if you're an offline person or an online person. How do you feel about this whole switch for the DRM? Are you excited about it? Are you missing the lost features? Was it a good enough trade-off? How often do you have internet? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be doing the Halo News recap, so watch for that in the next couple of days. You guys are awesome. I'm Minolta 1034. I'm pretty awesome too. And I'll see you next time.
While playing Destiny, if you tap down on the D-pad, you will dance.
Yeah. I get it. Hey, average good salute.
Yes. Nothing like killing a bad guy than dancing over his corpse.